Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Shri Radhe Jaya Nitai Sachinandana Gaura Hari Jaya Nitai Sachinandana Gaura Hari Jaya Jai Vishnupat Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Shudra Shatashi Srimad His Divine Grace Shila Isi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नमाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine, Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu, Krishne Madirastu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita chapter 6, which is the Dhyana Yoga. We are going to start from text 11 to 15. So we are going to do the 5 verses as usual. Before we do these verses, just a recap of the last 10 verses of the Dhyana Yoga chapter, which we have been discussing in November. The first 10 verses in Dhyana Yoga, Krishna is specifically mentioning about how one is, he talks about Yoga Arudha. Yoga Arudha means one who has attained very high levels of yogic siddhi, yogic perfection. And he talks about a person who is starting on the journey of yoga as well. And in the previous verses, Krishna has been describing about how the karma yoga, when one is engaged in, so when someone is starting off in the journey of yoga, and yoga is yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Patanjali gives the definition of yoga as, yoga is that which helps us in controlling the turbulences that happen within the mind. Because the mind, that's why in the previous, one of the previous verses, between 1 and 10 in 6th chapter, Krishna mentions Uddhared Atman Atmanam Natmanam Vasadet Atmaiva Hi Atmano Bandhur Atmaiva Ripuratmana. Krishna says that through the higher mind, we have to control the lower mind. So the higher mind here is, if we want to take about intelligence, for example, intelligence can be called as a higher mind, because intelligence is helping us to decide which direction we should choose. Intelligence, like the mind by itself is very fluctuating. It just wants to go in its own direction. But intelligence will actually help the mind to go in the right direction. There is an example that is given in the Upanishads. Atma nagnam rathinam vidhi shariram tu ratham evata buddhim tu sarathim vidhi mana pragraham evacha. So the Upanishads, it gives the example of the body as being a chariot, and the person within the chariot is us, the real person, because the real person is na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavida vana bhuya ajo nityam shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. That is the real person. The real person is never born and never dies. That's what we are. So basically that real person is like the chariot, is like the passenger in the chariot, and the chariot is the body. Body is the chariot. And then it says that buddhim tu sarathim vidhi. Intelligence is like the charioteer, and mana pragraham evacha. The mind is like that reins towards the horses. If we look if we consider the 5 senses as the 5 horses, Gyanendriyas. Gyanendriyas are the knowledge acquiring senses, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue and touch. So they are giving us the knowledge. So with the knowledge, something that is pleasing to the eyes, we are attracted towards it. So that means that horse is going in one direction. So the mind is like the reins controlling the horses. And the charioteer is the intelligence. And the person, real person within is our eternal. We like neither born nor dying. We are like eternal people. So generally what should happen is the person in the chariot should ask the charioteer to go to a particular destination, right? That's what generally happens. If we take the example of the modern day analogy, in the modern day there is no charioteer or the horses. In the modern day we have cars. So if you're taking, if you're say asking for a cab, when we are asking for a cab, we are asking the cab person to get us to a particular destination, right? And then the cab comes in and leads us to a destination. Or if we have the car, we know where we want to go. And then we go in the car and we reach a destination. But unfortunately, what is happening in the human form of life is that there is no goal, unfortunately. The real goal should be to try and know who am I. That should be in the human form of life. That is a real goal. To try and understand my eternal nature, which is free from all these turbulences that happen in the material world. That should be the goal. But unfortunately, there is no goal. The only goal is to enjoy the senses. Unfortunately, that is in the material. So basically what happens is, we get this body and then we think that the only way to enjoy is through the senses. We don't know any other way to enjoy. Not knowing that the real enjoyment is, that is what in the last verse, Yogi Yunjita Satatam. Let's go to the last verse. Verse 10 was, Yogi Yunjita Satatam Atmanam Rahasi Sthita Ekaki Yata Chittatma Nirashar Aparigraha. That was the previous verse. So that is a real yogi. Yogi Yunjita Satatam Atmanam Rahasi Sthita. What it means is, a real yogi is totally in connection with the Lord and enjoys unlimited bliss within. Yogi does not need anything external for their own enjoyment. That is what Ramante Yogina Anante Satyanande Chidatmani. It is mentioned in the scriptures. A yogi is Ananta, without any end. They are enjoying the bliss within, without any end. In the generally with the senses, there is Nateshu Ramate Buddha. It mentions about the senses enjoyment is Yehi Sansparshaja Bhoga Adyantavanta Evacha. So the sense enjoyment, it has got a beginning and it has got an end. And Dukkha Yonaya, it is said that it is a womb of misery. Any kind of sense enjoyment is a womb of misery. Why? Because naturally our tendency is to get unlimited bliss. But with sense enjoyment, we become limited. Because senses are limited. So whatever enjoyment we are going to get through senses will be limited. So this is what is, in the previous verse, Krishna mentions that. So those 10 verses are very important verses if we want to try and understand them. Because those 10 verses, previous 10 verses, they are mentioning, like if you look at the previous one, for example, Jitatmana Prashantasya. If you look at that verse 7, Paramatma Samahita, Shitoshna Sukha Dukheshu Tatha Mana Manayo. So when one is totally Jitatmana, when one has conquered one's mind and the senses, one is totally in a very peaceful state of existence, a very blissful state of existence. And then Shitoshna Sukha Dukheshu Tatha Mana Pamanayo. So one gets free from the dualities of the material nature. Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, Mana, Apamana. So, like now it is extremely cold. Then if you are going to the tropical countries, in the summertime it will be extremely hot. So this duality exists. In this material world is the nature of duality, dvandva. So therefore, dvandva vimukta. That is the quality of a person who is totally fixed in the Lord. One is free from the dualities of material nature. So yeah, so just I think it's really important to the first 10 verses, really try and understand them. If you get time, try to go into the details of those 10 verses. Now we come to this 11 to 15 verses, what we are going to discuss today. The main theme of these verses is, here Krishna is trying to help us understand how one can practice dhyana yoga, especially in the times when Krishna was there. So some of the contexts are those contexts, but it is still valid. In our times also it is still valid. So maybe you can just repeat. Shuchau deshe pratisthapya, Shuchau deshe pratisthapya, Sthiram asanam atmanah, Nati uchritam, Nati nicham, Nati uchritam, Nati nicham, Chailajina kushottaram, Tatraikagram manah kritva, Yatha chittendriya kriyaha, Upavishyasane yunjyat, Yogam atma vishuddhaye. So here the word by word is shuchau, in a sanctified, deshe, land, pratisthapya, placing, sthiram, firm, asanam, seat, atmanah, his own, not, ati, to, uchritam, high, not, ati, to, nicham, low, chaila ajina, of soft cloth and deer skin, kusha and kusha grass, uttaram, covering, tatra, thereupon, ekagram, with one attention, manaha, mind, kritva,
making,
yata chitta, controlling the mind, indriya, senses, kriyaha, and activities, upavishya, sitting, asane, on the seat, yunjyat, should execute, yogam, yoga practice, atma, the heart, vishuddhaye, for clarifying. So the translation is, to practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place, and should lay kusha grass on the ground, and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should be neither too high nor too low, and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses and activities, and fixing the mind on one point. Okay, so this, as we said, here Krishna is mentioning about how one can practice dhyana yoga. So concentration, meditation. So concentration is the kind of beginning. Dharana, dhyana and samadhi. So if you look at the Ashtanga yoga, so it is, Ashtanga yoga starts with yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. And those are the 8. So yama is the rules, niyama is the regulations, asana is the asanas that one can sit in constantly, pranayama, control of the breath, pratyahara, withdrawing the sense from the sense objects. Then there is dharana. Dharana means when the concentration is just at the beginning stage. Then dhyana. Dhyana is when dharana becomes very constant. That is dhyana. So here, Krishna is giving the example of, so in the olden times, one was more closer to nature, right? So therefore these are the things, the deer skin and all, kusha grass, all those has got that specific meaning. And even now, if you're looking at some type of yogis who are doing dhyana, say in Himalayas or somewhere, there might be some yogis like that. So they would be actually following these instructions, what Krishna is saying here. So the place should not be too high or too low. There is a kusha grass and then the deer skin. So all this, so finally the goal here is that the environment is being created in such a way that one can be in the state of dhyana for as long as is possible. That is the goal here, basically. And that's why all that preconditions have been given by Krishna. That you're placing yourself in a sacred place. So the importance of sacred place is that because of the sanctity of the place, one can, the dhyana can happen automatically. Because if the place is not conducive, if it is too noisy and distractive, then one cannot practice dhyana yoga. But the interesting thing here is that the bhakti yoga can be practiced anywhere. That is the wonderful nature of bhakti yoga. So, ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So, apratihata. Apratihata means it cannot be checked under any circumstances. That is bhakti. This is what kaler dosha nidhe rajan hi asti eko mahatgunan kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param braje. So Shukadeva Goswami says to Parikshit Maharaj that in this age of Kali there are lots and lots of impurities, unfortunately, because this is prayen alpayusha sabhya kalau asmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadhrita. It is mentioned in the scriptures that in the age of Kali, what is happening is, first of all, overall duration of age is less. It is not. It is said that in the earlier times, the duration was more because, one was very close to nature, and when there was no, pollution in any of the aspects, not in environment, not in what was eaten. Unfortunately, nowadays, there's pesticides and all those chemicals that are being put in, and that is causing a lot of trouble. And that's why people are trying to go back to the organic eating, organic farming and all those things. They are getting more importance. But earlier, organic was the way of life, right? So it was natural. Everything was natural. So the naturally people's lifespan was quite high. But now, prayen alpayusha sabhya, in the age of Kali, kalavasmin yugejana, manda sumanda matayo. The mind is totally not in a purified state. The mind is totally disturbed. The sumanda mati, it's all totally. So basically, what is happening in this age of Kali is one is increasing one's luxuries to an unlimited extent. One's, in terms of all the entertainment and all these different other aspects, there is no limitation. We have so much unlimited entertainment, unlimited luxury, but is it giving us unlimited bliss? Is it giving us unlimited peace? Unfortunately not. So manda bhagya, upadrita. Unfortunately, people are disturbed. Why people are disturbed? Because with all that development that we are doing, we are not trying to go within ourselves. We are always trying to go outside ourselves. That I can get some kind of happiness in this thing. I can get some kind of happiness in that thing. So we are. This is what Shota Vyadini Rajendra Nrinam Santi Sahasrasa Apashyatam Atma Tattvam Graheshu Grah Medinam. Shukadeva Goswami says to Parikshit Maharaj that someone who does not have this inclination to understand their original eternal nature, they will hear of thousands and thousands of different things that has nothing to do with our original existence. Our original existence is that we are eternally connected with Krishna. Mama eva amsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad-Gita that all the living entities in this whole universe are my eternal part and parcels. That we are, there is never a point, natva evaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipa nachaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayata param. Krishna mentions that when Arjuna is in the center of the battlefield, and he says that all these assembled kings, there was never a time when they did not exist, when you did not exist, O Arjuna, and when I did not exist. Sarve vaya atah param. We all are eternally existing. So this understanding, this is called Atma Tattva. So if one does not have this inclination for Atma Tattva, what will happen is one will try and find the so-called bliss in all the things, objects of the world, not knowing that the bliss is within. So there is this example that is given of Kasturi Kundal Base Mrug Dunde Banmahi. Aise Ghadkat Ram hai khojat phire kahi. So basically what it is saying is there is a gland in the deer which produces wonderful fragrance. It's called musk. Musk is a gland in the deer which produces a great fragrance. And the deer roams around all the forest trying to find out where that wonderful smell is coming from, not knowing that the smell is within the deer itself. It's a gland within the deer. So exactly this is the situation, unfortunately, of the conditioned living entity in this material world. So the conditioned living entity is trying to get happiness in objects, not knowing that the source of happiness is within. That is what is Satchidananda Vigraha. Krishna is called Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. He is an embodiment of Sat, means that which is eternally existing. Chit means full of consciousness, full of knowledge. And Ananda means full of bliss. So this is, the Lord is like that, and we, since we are part and parcel of the Lord, we are also exactly the same. Unfortunately what is happening is, so what is, when one is doing this dhyana yoga, what is mentioned here, one is trying to get back to one's original nature. Because when we have this particular body, I always think that I am this body. That is a natural situation in this material world. But the real goal in human form of life is to know that, of course, the body is there, and body is an important part of my existence. But there is something which is paras tasmatu bhavanyo vekta vektat sanatana yas sarveshu bhuteshu vinashatsu na vinashyati. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad-Gita that there is a superior transcendental realm which does not get destroyed when everything else gets destroyed. And that we are. And that is our original existence. So, not the bhutva bhutva praliyate. There is a statement called bhutva bhutva praliyate. What it means is constantly, one is going through the cycle of birth and death. Like if we look at the universe as a whole, the universe goes through that cycle of creation and dissolution. Exactly in the same way, we as living entity also go through the cycle of, but our cycle is quite small. The universe cycle is vast. Universe comes, but the whole cycle exists at the universal level or at the atomic level, like ourselves. So this is, so when we are understanding this verse here, what Krishna is saying here is how one has to get situated in a place which is sacred, and how one should be in an asana which helps one to be in that asana for as long as one can be, so that the mind can get fixed at one place. So that is what is the conclusion of this verse. Then in the next verse, which is 13 and 14, Krishna now continues to give more details about how one should practice dhyana yoga, this dhyana. So we'll read this now. Samam kaya shirogrivam.
Samam kaya shirogrivam.
Dharayan achalam sthiraha.
Dharayan achalam sthiraha.
Samprekshya nasikagram swam.
Samprekshya nasikagram swam.
Dishashchanavalokayan.
Dishashchanavalokayan.
Prashantatma vigatabhir.
Prashantatma vigatabhir.
Brahmachari vrate sthitaha.
Brahmachari vrate sthitaha.
Mana samyamya machitto.
Mana samyamya manchitto.
Yukta asita matparaha.
Yukta asita matparaha.
So the word by word, samam,
Samam.
straight,
Straight.
kaya,
Kaya.
body,
Body.
shiraha,
Shira.
head,
Head.
grivam,
Grivam.
and neck,
And neck.
dharayan,
Dharayan.
holding,
Holding.
achalam,
Achalam.
Unmoving,
Unmoving.
sthiraha,
Sthira.
still,
Still.
sampreksha,
Sampreksha.
looking,
Looking.
nasika,
Nasika.
of the nose,
Of the nose.
agram,
Agram.
at the tip,
At the tip.
swam,
Swam.
own,
Om.
dishaha,
Disha.
on all sides,
On all sides.
cha,
Cha.
also,
Also.
anavalokayam,
Analokayam.
not looking,
Not looking.
prashanta,
Prashanta.
unagitated,
Unagitated.
atma,
Atma.
mind,
Mind.
vigatabhi,
Vigatabhi.
devoid of fear,
Devoid of fear.
brahmachari vrate,
Brahmachari vrate.
in the vow of celibacy,
In the vow of
Celibacy.
celibacy.
stitaha,
Sthita.
situated,
Situated.
manaha,
Manaha.
mind,
Mind.
samyamya,
Samyamya.
completely subduing,
Completely subduing.
mat,
Mat.
upon me,
Upon me.
Krishna,
Krishna.
chittaha,
Chittaha.
concentrating the mind,
Concentrating the mind.
yuktaha,
Yuktaha.
the actual yogi,
The actual yogi.
asita,
Asita.
should sit,
Should say.
mat,
Mat.
me, paraha,
Paraha.
the ultimate goal.
The ultimate goal.
So the translation is one should hold one's body,
One
should hold one's body.
neck and head erect
neck
Neck
and head erect,
in a straight line
In a straight line.
and stare steadily
And stare steadily
at the tip of the nose.
at the tip of the nose.
Thus,
Thus,
with an unagitated,
with
an
an
unagitated,
subdued mind,
subdued mind,
devoid of fear,
devoid of fear,
completely free from sex life,
completely free from sex life,
one should meditate upon
one should meditate upon
me
me
within the heart
within the heart
and make me
and make me
the ultimate goal of life.
the ultimate goal of life.
Okay, so the previous verse, Krishna was mentioning about the sacred place, you know, the whole environment, what it should be, on what one should sit, and now he is coming to the body now. You know, first it was the external environment, how one should sit. Now the body, how the erectness, sitting, the posture should be straight. One's body, neck and head erect in a straight line, and then nasagri swam. So basically, so again, all this is dhyana yoga. So dhyana is, as we said, concentrating on a particular point. So the whole concept of all different types of yogas is that how concentrated the mind can become, because the nature of mind is that it does not want to stay at one place. That is the nature of mind. It wants to go from one place to another. So that is why Arjuna says, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna prabhati balavadradam tasyaham vigraham manye vayuriva sudushkaram. Arjuna says to Krishna that this mind is very difficult to control. It is very obstinate. It is very determined to do what it wants to do. So that is why Krishna says, Indriyani parani ahur indriyebhya parammana yo manasasto paro buddhe yo buddhe paratastu sa. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad-Gita, he says that undoubtedly, Arjuna, the senses are strong. Why senses are strong? Because the senses are going after the sense objects. That is the nature of the senses. And why the senses are going after the sense objects? Because we have got the samskaras within us. What is samskaras? Samskaras is this, since time immemorial we have been taking birth after birth after birth. So our subtle body, the mind, intelligence and false ego, it has got a collection of all the impressions that we have since time immemorial. Unlimited, it's like an unlimited storage, right? So So that's why that is samskaras. So Janmana jayate shudra samskarat bhaved dvija. Veda pathat bhaved vipra brahma janati iti brahmana. So it is said that when a person is born, that is like a shudra, like no samskara. There is no samskara when we are born. But when the samskaras happen, samskaras is what all the cultural aspects that we have in our lives. That is called samskaras. So when samskaras happen, one becomes twice born. It is called in the Brahmana especially. In the Brahmana they have got this Upanayan sanskar, the thread ceremony they have. So there, I think Kshatriyas, Vaishyas probably also have that. So that is like a twice born. That is called Dvija. That means one is trying to go in the direction of understanding one's original nature. Then Veda Pathat Bhaved Vipra. When one starts understanding the scriptures, one is trying to become a wise person, Vipra. Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. The fourth category is the person who knows Brahman. Brahman, knowing Brahman means knowing our eternal nature. I am Atma Brahma. Tat Tvam Asi. These are the Veda Vakyas. The Tat Tvam Asi, what it means is, Tat is we as an eternal part and parcel of the Lord. Tvam is we are connected to the Lord. Asi. So we have got an eternal connection with the Lord. That is what is Tat Tvam Asi. If we look at it from the impersonal perspective, what they say is that there is no difference between the Atma and Brahman. That is the impersonal perspective. In the impersonal perspective, what happens is the Brahman is the only existence. There is nothing else other than Brahman. Everything else is an illusion. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. That is the impersonalist perspective. So they got this theory called Ajatavada theory in the impersonalism. Ajatavada theory means that what it says is that Ajata means that which is never born. So that is the theory. So that means, according to the impersonalists, when one becomes awakened, one understands that everything is illusion. The only reality that exists is Brahman. Other than that, everything is illusion. The example that they give is that of in the dark. If someone is in a dark room and there is a rope in the dark room, and someone thinks that the rope is a snake, because it's dark, one thinks that the rope is a snake, and one becomes really afraid. When there is light, one sees that there was no snake at all. It was always a rope. So this is the example that they give in the impersonal philosophy. That because when one and the example that they give is about the three states, the four states, right? There is this Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and then there is Turiya. It is called. Jagrat is waking state, Swapna is dream state, Sushupti is deep sleep, and Turiya is the state, the fourth state. It is called. The fourth state is that where one can be in the deep sleep state in the waking state. What is it in the deep sleeping state that when we get up in the morning we feel really refreshed? Why is it? Why is it that? Because the mind is totally asleep at the time. Mind is not functioning. Because the mind stops functioning, one gets totally refreshed, right? In the morning, one wakes up refreshed. But otherwise, even in the dream state, the mind is functioning. Because the mind itself is becoming everything in the dream state. In the waking state, what happens is one wakes up and the mind is actually creating the world. That is the impersonalist philosophy, right? Because if we don't have the mind, we will not see the world as we see it from our own perspective. We will see the world as it is. What happens is, whenever we are seeing the world, we have got all these samskaras, right? All these unlimited impressions that we have been having since time immemorial. That is the basis of us seeing the whole world. We are seeing it through our samskaras. So, when we are seeing the world, when someone has got bad samskaras in them, unfortunately what will happen is they will see bad things. Even though there might be some good things happening, their mind will only project the bad things because their samskaras are bad. In a similar way, if someone has got good samskaras, even within the worst circumstances, they will be able to see good things there. So at the end of the day, it is all the play of the mind, the mind itself. That's why mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshaye. Bandhaya vishaya sangha mokshaya nirvishaya mana. It is said in the scriptures that mind itself is the cause of one's bondage, and mind itself is the cause of one's liberation. When the mind is attached to the sense objects, it is in bondage. When the mind is detached from the sense objects, it is in a liberated state. So all these things, when Krishna is mentioning about Prashantatma, Vigata Bhir, Brahmachari, Vrate Sthita, what is all this helping? All this is making one situated in a state which is detached from the worldly sensory experiences. Because once we are in the sensory experience, we feel that this is the only way to get pleasure. There is no other way to get pleasure. But when we go within, then we know that there is an unlimited pleasure within, which is Sukham atyantikam yattad buddhi grahyam atindriyam veti yatrana chaivayam sthitas chalati tatvata. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad-Gita that when one goes within, one experiences a sukha which is atyantika, which has no comparison to the normal sensory experiences that we get. And it is buddhi grahyam. It is being enjoyed by the intelligence. And it is atindriyam, it is said. Atindriyam means it surpasses all the sensory experiences. Now, veti yatrana chaivayam sthitas chalati tatvata. So what that says is, when one understands that tattva jnana, then one remains situated very steadily in that state. One does not get dhiras tatrana muhyati. One becomes very sober. So here all this, the last two lines is really very important here. Mana samyamya machitto yukta asita matpara. If you look at the last two lines of this verse, it is coming on to the subtle aspects. If you look from the beginning, right? So in the beginning, Krishna is mentioning about the posture being straight, one fixing the mind on the tip of the nose and all those things. And then in the end, Krishna is saying, Mana samyamya machitto. Machitta means the mind focused on me.
Yes.
Chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya matpara. So yukta asita matpara. So basically, the main focus here is focusing the mind on Krishna. And that becomes bhakti. So generally dhyana, if you look at dhyana in a very generic sense, dhyana can be focused on any aspect, right? For example, Krishna was saying focusing on the tip of the nose. So that is a dhyana. But in the end, Krishna is saying machitto, yukta asita matpara. Focus your mind on me. Chitta is mind. Mat means Krishna, on Krishna. And yukta asita matpara. Then you make me as the ultimate goal of your life. So it is going into bhakti now, from dhyana to bhakti. So that is the 13, 14. Then we go to, this one would be the last one today, which you can discuss. Yunjaneva sadatmanam,
Yunjaneva sadatmanam,
yogi niyata manasa,
yogi niyata manasa,
Shantim nirvana paramam,
Shantim nirvana paramam,
mat samstham adhigacchati.
mat samstham adhigacchati.
So word by word, Yunjan,
Yunjan,
practicing,
evam,
Evam,
as mentioned above,
as mentioned above,
sada,
sada,
constantly,
constantly,
atmanam,
Atmanam,
body, mind and soul.
body, mind and soul.
Yogi,
Yogi,
the mystic transcendentalist.
the mystic transcendentalist.
Niyata Manasaha,
Niyata Manasa,
with a regulated mind.
with a regulated mind.
Shantim,
Shantim,
peace.
peace.
Nirvana Paramam,
Nirvana Paramam,
cessation of material existence.
cessation of material existence.
Mat Samsthan,
Mat Samsthan,
the spiritual sky,
the spiritual
the
sky,
kingdom of God.
the kingdom of God.
Adhigachati,
Adhigachati,
does attain.
does attain.
So the translation, thus practicing constant control
Thus practicing constant control
of the body, mind and activities,
of the body, mind and activities.
the mystic transcendentalist,
The mystic transcendentalist,
his mind regulated,
his mind regulated,
attains to the kingdom of God
attains to the kingdom of God,
or the abode of Krishna
or the abode of Krishna,
by cessation of material existence.
by cessation of material existence.
Okay, so yeah. So here, right, so 11, 12, Krishna was giving the external circumstance, 13, 14, he was giving the body and the mind, Machita, and then in the 15th, he's saying that how this control of body, mind and activities, mind regulated. So at the end of the day, the main goal here is that where the mind is, that is the most important aspect. The mind, as we were saying before, mana eva manushyanam karanam moksha bandhane. So the mind itself is the cause of bondage and liberation. So somehow or other, yena tena prakarena mana krishne niveshayet. It is mentioned in the scriptures that some way or the other, if we can fix our mind on Krishna, all the other rules and regulations are subservient to this main rule. So because there is Aradhanam yadi harir tapasa tatah kim, Naradhanam yadi harir tapasa tatah kim. Narad Muni says this. Narad Muni says that if one is engaging in loving devotional service of Krishna, then what is the use of austerity? If one is not engaging in loving devotional service of Krishna, then what is the use of austerity? Right? So what does he mean by that? If one is engaging in loving devotional service, then austerity is a way of getting to the goal of engaging in loving devotional service. So if one is already engaging in loving devotional service, what is the use of austerity? If one is not engaging in loving devotional service, again what is the use of austerity? Antar bahir yadi harir tapasat tatakim, na antar bahir yadi harir tapasat tatakim. Again Narad Muni says that if one sees the Lord everywhere, then what is the use of austerity? If one does not see the Lord anywhere, what is the use of austerity? So basically what he is saying is the goal here is somehow or other, if the mind can be focused on Krishna. Janma karmam cha me divyam evam yuveti tatvata. Tyaktva deham punarjanmam naiti mameti suarjuna. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad-Gita that one who knows my birth and appearance to be divya. Divya means divine, transcendental. Tattvata. Tattvata means in truth. In truth means it's not that theoretically I'll try and know. Not theoretically. Of course, theoretically is the beginning. If you don't have even theoretical understanding, then it is very difficult. Like if people, for example, say chemistry or physics, any of these subjects, scientific subjects. First, there is a theory class, right? The lecturer will show the theory that, say chemistry, for example, that you add this chemical, and then you get another chemical as a reaction of the two chemicals. Then the person will go in the lab and try actually mixing the chemicals. And then see, oh, actually, this happens. There is this reaction that is happening. Exactly this is the thing. When we are understanding spiritual matter, first of all, there has to be a small bit of inclination to understand. If that inclination is not there, unfortunately, one will not engage in the activity. This is what is Shrunvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridi Antastoyi Abhadrane Vedonoti Surat Satam. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam that when one is hearing about Krishna, Swakatha Krishna, that activity by itself is called Punya Shravana Kirtana. It itself is a very pious activity. So one does not need to do any other. Generally there is always this argument that happens that You are engaging in the bhakti, but what about service to other people? Naraseva, Narayana Seva, all those things. The service to people will be automatically done. When one is engaging in bhakti, that is a byproduct. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chaya Dahetukam. It is mentioned in the scriptures. Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that when one is engaging in loving devotional service of Vasudeva, Krishna, son of Vasudeva, Bhakti Yoga Prayojita, with full bhakti, automatically there is Jnanam, Janayati Ashu Vairagyam. Automatically there is detachment. And automatically there is full knowledge. It is byproduct. So, when one engages in the loving devotional service, automatically all the other things naturally will happen. One does not have to artificially do that. Like the example that is given is, if one wants to nourish a plant, one does not give water to all the branches and leaves and everything. One just put water in the root. Yatha tarora mula nishechanina trupyanti tatskanda bhujopo shaka. If one wants to nourish one's body, one does not give the foodstuff to the tongue or mouth or anything. It has to go into the stomach. And once it goes into the stomach, it digests everything and then it nourishes the whole body. Exactly in the same way, when one engages in loving devotional service of Krishna, automatically, yasmin tushte jagat tushta. It is mentioned that when the Lord is satisfied, automatically the whole universe will be satisfied. So this is Devarshi Bhutapta Nrinam Pitrinam Na Kinkaram Nayam Rinicha Rajan Sarvatmanaye Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kartum. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that when we are born, what happens is we are indebted to lots and lots of living entities. We are indebted to the demigods, Deva, Rishi. We are indebted to the sages. Devarshi, Bhuta. Bhuta is living entities in general. Apta, our relatives, forefathers. Nrinam, Pitrinam. Pitra are the forefathers. Na kinkaram nayam ranicha rajan. It says that one is not indebted to anyone. How sarvatmanaye sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam. When one takes total shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, Mukunda, automatically all debts goes away. Gato mukundam parihritya kartum. So this is so somehow or other, and how one is surrendering at the lotus feet of the Lord? By remembering the Lord. His pastimes. He's got unlimited pastimes. Nitya Leela. Constantly. His pastimes are constantly going. Goloka eva nivasati akhilatma bhuto. He is in his Goloka Vrindavan Dham and constantly engaged in his pastimes. So somehow or other, if we can focus our mind, man mana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru, mame vaishyasi yuktvaevam atmanam matparayana. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad-Gita that give your mind to me, become my devotee, offer your obeisances to me, offer your prayers to me. You will surely come to me, O Arjuna. Krishna says, mame vaishyasi yuktvaevam atmanam matparayana. You will come back to me. So this is the kind of goal of these verses. When we try and understand these verses, the goal here is through dhyana we are reaching the stage of bhakti. And when we are in bhakti, bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyas chashmi tatvata. Krishna says that, Krishna does not say dhyana mam abhijanati. You can know me through dhyana. Krishna does not say karma mam abhijanati. You can know me through karma. Krishna doesn't say yoga mam abhijanati. You can know me through yoga. He doesn't say that. He says bhaktya mam abhijanati. So through bhakti you can know me. And this is the kind of, if you look at the last verse of this chapter, the last verse when we end this Dhyana Yoga chapter, what Krishna says is yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantar atmana shraddhavan bhajate umam same yukta tamomata. Krishna says that he gives the example of all the yogis, and then he says that among all the yogis, who is rendering loving devotional service to me with lot of faith and devotion is the topmost yogi. So this is so if you want to kind of conclude these 5 verses, the important thing here is just we try and understand how Krishna has given the details of how the dhyana can be practiced. The dhyana yoga can be practiced, and the goal of this dhyana yoga is somehow or other we engage our mind in the loving devotional service of the Lord. So with that, thank you very much for listening. If there is any comments or questions, we can discuss.
उधर भी पढ़ो बैक के पास
Do you have anything to discuss?
So how can one alone practice dhyana without any distractions?
Alone?
Because if we have a group of meditation, then it's still easy.
Yeah.
But if we don't have anyone, any company or any association like that, or any guidance for that, then how do we?
It depends on the level of the person who is practicing. Okay, so if someone is yoga rudha, as Krishna mentions, with the previous verses he mentioned about yoga rudha. Yoga rudha means arudha. Arudha means if you look at yoga as a ladder, as a step towards reaching the goal, and the goal is at a higher place. Yoga rudha is someone who has climbed a lot on the top of the ladder. So if someone is in that state, then they do not need anyone else really. Why? Because they have already progressed so much that they can. This is what yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi sthita. So the verse 9. So they enjoy the bliss within, and they are able to see the Lord at every moment. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hrideshu vilokente. So their eyes are anointed with the salve of love for the Lord. So they are able to see the Lord at every moment. So for such a person, the external circumstances does not matter. That is what is ahaituki apratihata. There is a word ahaituki and apratihata. Ahaituki means there is no costless. Generally what happens is the bhakti that people have is hetuki. Hetuki means it has a cause. Because I want something from the Lord. Oh Lord, if you give me this, I'll give you something else. That is a general tendency when we are in the conditioned state of existence. But in the liberated state, one wants to love the Lord. That's it. There is no reason for loving the Lord. So basically, depending on the stage of the person, but of course, bhakti, dhyana, for dhyana yoga, the interesting thing about dhyana yoga is that it does not need other people. Because dhyana yoga is the yogi being alone and totally focusing their attention. So actually having other people is a distraction for them in a way. For a dhyana yoga. But bhakti is different. Bhakti, what happens in bhakti is that it is sankirtana, everyone coming together and glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In bhakti, but actually what happens is, like even when one is in dhyana yoga, it is always good to have the association, because that is what propels the people to continue going in their journey. Right? So if the association is not there, then especially when one is not in yoga rudha stage, right? One can get easily distracted by other things.
And especially when you have to get up early in the morning.
Yes, all those different aspects. Yeah. That all helps in terms of the association. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. That's why there is this, the 9 stages of prema, going towards prema. The first is shraddha. First is faith. Adau shraddha. Tatha sadhu sangha. Then you have association of devotees. Then bhajana kriya. Then in association of devotees, we are doing devotional service to the Lord. Bhajana kriya. Then anartha nivritti. The fourth is when the bhajana kriya is being performed, whatever is not conducive for inculcating that love for the Lord is slowly goes away. Anartha nivritti. Then there is nishtha. Nishtha means the faith becomes firmer. Then when there is nishtha, there is ruchi. Ruchi is taste. One starts having taste for engaging in hearing and chanting about Krishna. Then nishtha, ruchi, asakti. Asakti is attachment. So just like a person who is really materialist, they would have attachment for materialistic things. Exactly the same way the devotee of the Lord will have attachment towards Krishna. So they, somehow or other, they want to hear about Krishna. They have that attachment to hear about Krishna. Because they have developed the taste, ruchi, the preceding thing. When there is taste, there is attachment. Ruchi, asakti. Then there is bhava. This is the 8th stage. Bhava means emotional connection with the Lord. One becomes totally emotionally connected. Just like there is emotional connection with our children, for example, or our parents. Whenever there is this show about the parents, or that connection is, you cannot explain it, right? In words, you cannot explain it. It's only felt. It's a feeling, total feeling. So that feeling towards the Lord, that is bhava. And then the final is prema, the 9th stage. Prema means that is the goal of human form of life, right? So then it is like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Yogayatam Nimishena Chakshusha Pravarshaitam Shunyayatam Jagat Govinda Virename. One becomes totally, one feels vacant, like one feels, where is Lord? One is searching for Lord everywhere. That was the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's situation, right? It was prema. He actually came to show what is real prema. But it's interesting, the whole progression, how a faith, in the beginning it is faith, and in the end also it is faith. The difference is the intensity of that faith. In the beginning the intensity of the faith is weak. But in the end, the intensity is so strong that nothing else matters. Only Lord matters, nothing else matters. It's an amazing state of existence. And it is possible to attain in human form of life. Actually, they say only in human form of life, no other form of life. So it's kind of really amazing that we have this opportunity. And somehow or other, if we can have this. So the main thing is try and develop that ruchi, the taste, and it comes only when we have Shraddha. We have to have that faith. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam, Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita. Tat parat samyatendriya jnanam labdha param shantim achirena adhigachati. Krishna says that when there is Shraddha, the faith, then one gets interest in understanding the Lord, jnana. Then once one has that jnana, param shantim achirena adhigachati. One attains that supreme peace very soon, very quickly. One attains. So then, yam labdhva chaparam labham manyate nadikam tata. Yasmin sthitena dukkena guru napi vichalyate. Then Krishna says that once you have gained this, any other gain seems to be of no value, really. Yasmin, and in that situation, even the greatest difficulties will not make a person, internally they will still be very peaceful. Guru Napi, greatest calamities will not affect the person. Because internally they know that they are eternally connected with the Lord. And everything else is just coming and going, It has no fixed state. The only thing that is fixed is our link with the Lord. Everything else is temporary. It's quite amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So now we will chant the Narsimha Pranam mantra. Complete it. Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
तव कर कमल नरेन काम अद्भुत शृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय
नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय प्रहलाद महाराज
जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल। नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठावतरे श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारणे सर्वं श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु कृष्णे मतिरस्तु हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण।